Welcome to Daytime Ottawa here on Rogers TV. Oh my goodness, hope you had a great weekend. Beautiful weather over the weekend. I was out at the air show, Legends of the Sky, absolutely amazing. Lots of things going on, festivals, Richmond Fair was going on. So hope you had an opportunity to get out and enjoy everything Ottawa has to offer as we enjoy some beautiful weather into September. I don't recall September being this beautiful in quite some time. Hey, we got a great show ahead for you. A couple of wonderful local authors on the show, a couple of special guests as well. And my first guest today is also a special guest because she has her own show that kicked off, premiered last night as a matter of fact, at 8:30 p.m. Her name is Risa Solomon St. Louis, and she is the executive chef, founder of Bacchanal, but also host of In the Kitchen with Risa. How you doing?
I am fine. Thanks so much for having me today, Derek.
It's a pleasure. So let's talk about how this opportunity came to be for you to have your own show here on Rogers TV.
Well, I think you get some credit.
Oh, okay.
Because I've kind of come a little bit full circle, because my first opportunity to be on a TV show was with you many years ago on Daytime Ottawa, so thank you.
My pleasure.
And, you know, one thing I find is that community television is something that's really awesome and amazing for businesses, local businesses, and I've had a couple of opportunities to be on Rogers TV Ottawa, and I'm grateful for the fact that a member of your team suggested that maybe I might be a good show host. And I'm so excited that it came to fruition. It's a wonderful management team and production crew. I couldn't be more grateful.
Excellent. So yeah, what was that experience like? Tell me, I mean, you probably, I guess this is the first time you've ever done a show, right? So what was the experience like?
Well, it was an excellent learning experience.
I love the way you say it.
But, you know, I am a professional chef. And I went to school and I trained for that. And you know, cooking is a skill.
Yeah.
But I also learned how to cook traditional foods at home with my parents, with my family, and I really sharpened and developed those skills afterwards when I went to chef school. But what I wanted to do was kind of to help people kind of break down a few of the barriers, let some insider secrets come out so that people could learn to cook a little bit Caribbean style.
Nice.
And my main goal is to also try to leverage a lot of our local farm fresh foods, because there's a wonderful ways to bring out those flavors with what we have right here in Ottawa.
Yeah, we're so lucky, right? In this area, how many local small farms that we have around. We're really, really fortunate. But we're going to cook together today. What are we making today?
Today we are making one of my favorites, one of my go-tos, and that is a vegan curry.
Okay.
And I think it's especially great to do this at this time of year because with the harvest coming soon, you know, we have some lovely fall flavors, fall vegetables that we can use and really leverage. It might be in your own garden or from our farmers markets. So I'm going to start off with curry powder.
Okay.
You know, and I'm using a curry powder because, you know, that's kind of easy and accessible for everybody. You can see that there's a bit of smoke rising, and that's because one thing you don't want, and I'll let you stir this.
Sure.
I'll turn it down a little bit.
Okay. It's a little powerful.
The smoke went up went through my lungs there. One thing you don't want is you don't want to have raw curry. Like, it kind of has a sharpish taste.
Okay.
And you want to kind of avoid that if you can.
Gotcha.
And so what I'm doing right now, once that's cooked down a little bit, you're going to see that it gets darker. This is interesting, by the way, because I bet you most people do not put their curry powder in first, right? They would assume that you put it in, I don't know, with oil or to get with the onions started. Why are we doing it this way? So it's interesting. My sister, my brother, and I all cook. We learned how to make our curries at home. Our family's originally from Trinidad and Tobago, which is heavily on the East Indian demographic, including some of our own family origins.
Right.
And I'm going to throw a little bit of salt over my shoulder there.
Okay. Is that like a superstition?
It is.
Because I've seen people do it in the movies and TV, but I've never had a cook do that here in the kitchen.
I'm going to add a little bit of, so we make, it's funny, I'm the eldest in my family, and so I probably cook the most, I think, with my parents.
Right.
I make my curry, we all make curry differently.
Really?
Even though, so I don't know what happened, if my mother was, you know, mixing it up on purpose, but, you know, a lot of people, they'll start with like making a curry paste and then kind of cooking it down in the oil, adding more water to it, etc. But
what did you add there?
This is...
It's just some olive oil?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So we added a bit of butter and then olive oil.
Correct.
Right? Okay.
Right. So now I'm just going to turn the heat back up again.
Okay.
And we're going to add some onion because I like to layer my curry. So I'm putting in things at different stages. Is there any specific reason why? Yes.
Okay.
So I want the onions to be caramelized.
Ah, okay.
So if there's too much moisture, then they're not really going to caramelize. They're just going to kind of boil and simmer. And that's a completely different texture. You know, how you cut things, how you're going to cook something, it all makes a difference ultimately in the flavor.
Okay.
And so I usually start with my spices, and then I add whatever I'm going to use for a base for an oil. In this case, I used vegan margarine and a little bit of olive oil.
Okay.
And then what I'm going to add is
some kale, superfood.
Superfood, fantastic.
That's what they call it, right?
I love kale.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. And I like it when I like it when it's cooked as well, because I find, you know, and if you put it in a salad, sometimes you know how it gets a little gritty.
Yeah.
Right? And when you swallow. So two things I learned.
It.
I was just going to say that. You have to massage it with some oil, right?
You have to massage the kale.
Yes, I learned that right here on the show because of great cooks like yourself that come on.
Yeah. I usually put it in a freezer bag when I'm at home, and I just basically beat it around with like my olive oil and garlic and sea salt, and then just let it sit for a bit.
All right.
Yeah.
How much time do we have, Steph? 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Okay,
Should
so
we keep layering here?
Yeah, let's keep layering.
Let's pretend it's gotten to the point, right, that you want it.
So now what we're going to do, what we would normally do is throw in a little bit of Scotch bonnet for flavor, or sometimes we might use our own pepper sauce.
Okay.
And then I would add the zucchini.
And we should mention that. So Bacchanal, you have you brought some of your sauces along here.
I did.
I have, by the way, taste tested all of these, and they are absolutely amazing. So tell everybody at home where they can pick up these.
So they're available on our website at bacchanal.com. You can also get them through Ottawa street markets because we do sell our prepared foods there. And so, yeah, those are basically where you can get them.
Okay.
And the great thing about our sauces too, you can use them kind of like a chutney on the side for dipping, etc. But they're also great for a flavor enhancer. So this is coconut milk.
Oh, I love coconut milk.
I love coconut milk too.
So good. And you've added some chickpeas as well. We've added some water. Okay.
Yeah, it's always especially important. You know, a lot of people are looking at plant-based diets, vegan diets. You need to make sure that you're getting your protein.
Right. And that's where the chickpea, I guess, comes in?
Exactly.
Right.
And so then we're also going to add, I like to add a bit of squash or sweet potato for some sweetness.
Nice.
And then we're going to add in our, I think this is turned down a little bit. We're going to add in a little bit of potato just for texture.
Okay. And you know what I like too is that if you're, not necessarily going full vegan, but this is a great idea to add a couple of maybe, a couple of meals, right, throughout the week, and turn it, make sure that you're getting your vegetables, because it's hard to hit everything, right? That's always recommended. Want to remind everybody at home before we run out of time here, you can catch Risa, host of In the Kitchen with Risa, premieres each and every Sunday, 8:30 p.m. There's also some repeats as well, so rogerstv.com to find out more. We'll be right back after this.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Unbelievable. You just never see that. Oh, what a shot.
The OHL on Rogers TV.
The regulars, the guys who keep this place in business. Last week, they had something to celebrate. Jason had just finished university. So they toasted his profs, his TAs, his old roommates. Well, they toasted just about everyone. But I worry about and take care of my guys. So even when I know they're not driving, sometimes that means bringing them a little surprise. And then they had a drink to me.
Brought to you by Smart Serve Ontario and Arrive Alive, Drive Sober.
Ottawa, it's the national capital of Canada. But how much do you know about the city's history? This is Phil Jenkins, Join me as I take you on a journey through Bytown's beginnings, Ottawa's crowning as capital, amalgamation, and its becoming a city of 1 million citizens. Watch The History of Ottawa according to Phil Jenkins exclusively on Rogers TV.
My name is Joel Tamas, this is Red Heaven, and we are going to be playing the encore concert here in Ottawa. I got goosebumps just looking at the lighting and the sound, and it's very exciting to show up at a place like Shankman.
Welcome back to the show. Well, as promised, a couple of special guests joining me here in the studio. This is one of the reasons I love doing this job, because you never know who's going to show up here on Daytime Ottawa. In studio, I have the Snow Queen herself, and also I think you will probably recognize her special guest alongside her. Snow Queen, welcome. Great to have you here. Great. So let's first talk about the beautiful guest you brought along with you. Who's this?
Yes, he's my very special snowman friend. I made him with my ice magic.
Nice. Very nice. And I should also mention, you're one of many characters at Fairytale Princess parties, and that's where we wanted to start our conversation. Let's talk a little bit about what you do, because you really do offer a unique experience, don't you?
Yeah, for sure. Well, we have lots of different characters, so princesses like me, and princes, mascots like our friend over here, superheroes, and a lot more. And we do birthday parties and special events throughout Ottawa. So
you have to describe what feedback you get from the kids, because I can't imagine it must be really fulfilling work that you're doing, right?
Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun, and they really love it. It's really magical seeing their favorite character come to life and come to their birthday party as well. And we also do special events, so we go to fairs and meet and greets and Christmas parties, and then we also host our own special events.
Your owner, Mary Jean, who couldn't make it today, but she's been doing this for quite some time. Talk to me about that process that she's had, building this amazing experience for people.
Yeah, for sure. Well, she took over in 2018. From the previous owner, and we've been working on building the company, introducing new characters, and really just having our characters go throughout the city more for special events as well, and also some charity events too.
Let's talk characters. You mentioned you have many. Walk us through. What sort of characters do you have available?
Well, there's a lot of princesses. Those are the most popular, of course. So me, I'm actually the most popular princess.
Of course, yeah.
And we have other characters too, like my sister. We have Cinderella, Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, Little Mermaid, pretty much you name it. And there's also a lot of superheroes. So Spider-Man's very popular, and we've got Wonder Woman, we've got mermaids, we've got fairies, wizards. So there's a lot of variety.
You mentioned you go throughout the city, so charity events, that must be a big part of what you do. Let's talk about that, because you've got the Snowball coming up, and this is a very special event because you're raising funds for a great cause.
Yeah, for sure. Well, for the Snowball, that's in November 26th, and we're going to be having me and my friends, such as my snowman friend and all the others from my kingdom there, and it's going to be to raise money for Make-A-Wish. So Make-A-Wish is a Canadian charity that grants wishes for children throughout the country who have critical illnesses. And the event's going to be a lot of fun too. We're going to have us there for a meet and greet. We're going to have a photo booth. We're going to have face painting, singing, dancing, games, crafts, treats. And Mrs. Claus will also make an appearance there. She'll be taking Christmas wish lists and there for pictures, and we'll have a raffle as well. So there's actually been a lot of local businesses who've been really helpful. They've been donating some really great things to the raffle. So
fantastic.
We're really excited for that. And
what are some raffle items? Can you tease us with some of them?
Well, we've got a lot of gift cards actually.
Okay.
So we've got some from, let's see, the Museum of History. We've got Cosmic Adventures, the Mary Dairy, Bubble Sea Adventures, and we've also got some cute items like a Princess Tutu for kids.
Nice.
We've got a cookbook. We've got custom orthotics actually from Chiromax and Manotick. and a sleepover package. So they have sleepover tents, so someone could win that for a birthday party as well.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Make-A-Wish, I mean, this is a great sort of connection, right? Because you must feel like, you know, what you do is kind of, you know, related to the same thing, right? And when you show up, you're really, you know, surprising some kids, and, you know, this is like a really special opportunity for them. Is that why you decided to sort of match up with them?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we've actually had our characters go to some other children there for Make-A-Wish as well.
Right.
So we're all about bringing joy and hope for kids, and so Make-A-Wish is really similar in their goals.
You mentioned birthday parties. So what does a birthday party then look like? Walk me through sort of the process of you know, booking a birthday party and how it works.
Yeah, for sure. So people will pick which character they like best, usually their daughter or son's favorite character. And we'll go to the party, we'll do lots of activities such as like a story time, we'll do songs and games, I'll sing my favorite songs, and we bring dress up, makeup and tattoos for the kids, and the birthday child will also get a special crown and certificate. So they'll be crowned an honorary prince or princess for the day.
Oh, I should have asked you to do that with me today.
Yes, of course.
I wasn't even thinking. I think you've done it with me before, though. I think we've done that before, so I might already be knighted. So what do you think princesses and these characters can sort of teach young people in the modern age that we have today? I mean, because things have changed, right? Pretty dramatically. Kids are on, you know, computers and social media and that sort of thing. What do you think you bring to kids?
Yeah, well, we always try to exemplify good virtues such as like kindness, courage, helping your friends, sticking up for others, and being honest. And a lot of people are very quick to dismiss princesses as sort of being more frivolous, but they actually all display really great virtues and really inspire kids to lead really good lives. And so we always try to bring that to our parties and our special events when we interact with kids. So, for instance, for the crowning ceremony, we always talk about what sorts of traits does a true princess need, and kids might suggest, oh, she needs a crown, she needs a dress, and those are all very nice, but what really matters is the strength in her heart and how she connects to others, and just how she conducts herself in their life.
And I imagine they resonate with that, don't they?
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
And once we kind of give them an example, like, oh, does the princess need to be kind? And they might suggest, like, oh, they need to tell the truth or help their friends. So, yeah, we always try to bring some good lessons into our parties as well.
Still tickets available for the Snowball? How do people get their tickets?
Yeah, so they can get tickets on our website. We're still going to be selling tickets for a little bit longer, and you can get your tickets ahead of time for parents and children of all ages. We kind of suggest it would be ideal for kids age like sort of 3 to 7.
Okay, excellent. Great to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you as well. Great to have you. Hey, don't go anywhere because comedian Jen Hayward is coming up after the break. She's been doing some pretty cool stuff around town. She'll tell us what she was up to. We'll be right back.
Remembering the Children, National Day for Truth and Reconciliation will honor residential school survivors, their families, and communities. On September 30th, honor the journeys and the wisdom of Indigenous elders, share their cultures, and inspire our children as we share the commemorative gathering, live from Parliament Hill in Ottawa.
Heartbeat of Mother Earth, I feel you and embrace your warmth. I see you dancing through the trees. Your song floats on the summer breeze. Community, we come together. We are the voice of our ancestors. Thankful for how much you bless us. Feel the thunder in the drum. All our voices sing as one. Feel the power, feel the pride. Feel the drumbeat deep inside. Feel the boom, feel the bass. Let's let go of time and space. It'll make you dance, it'll make you sing. Ode Wegun, Wedok Wishin. The drum will lead you, take you far. Always remember who you are.
Play 4 games of bingo from the comfort of your own home each Monday at 7 p.m. for your chance to win money from our $2,000 regular bingo or $5,000 super bingo night. Kiwanis TV Bingo, Mondays at 7 p.m. on Rogers TV.
Every year, dozens of Canadians are killed or seriously injured because they take risks around railway tracks. Talk to your loved ones about rail safety. Visit stoptracktragedies.ca.
Welcome back to Daytime Ottawa. Really excited to talk to my next guest because she reached out to me and said, listen, Derek, I want to do some really different things. I want to go outside of my comfort zone and try new things. What do you say I do that? Then come on your show and I talk to everybody and tell them what my experience was like. And I said, well, sure. Jen Hayward, comedian and speaker, joining me. How are you, Jen?
I'm great, Derek. How are you?
I am doing great, thanks. So yeah, you reached out, but obviously this is something you must have been thinking about for a little while. Tell me where the inspiration came from.
Well, I've always wanted to do this. You know, I have an insatiable need for attention, and so let's find new ways to exploit that. But honestly, since COVID and since I shut down my business, I freelance and I remote work. I don't leave my house very much.
Okay.
And one of my partners is an adventurer, and she's all, you know, she almost got me drowned in the Zambezi. So I said, you know, I'd like to find somewhere middle ground without trying to almost adventure die to doing nothing. So I thought, you know, let's try new things. And there's all these great things that Ottawa has to offer. So I can go experience, talk about it comedically. Yeah, anything that's not a near-death experience, I'm ready to try. So.
Okay, that's good. I'm glad you're not putting yourself in danger.
Yes.
That is very important. So the first thing you decided to do, well, let's go back to your childhood, because my understanding is you and your family wrestling fans growing up.
Well,
is that
yes.
right?
I mean, it was the 80s, and you had to be. You had to say your prayers, eat your vitamins, and long to be Miss Elizabeth. That was what girls did and guys did. And we had the pay-per-view events and big parties. So it was kind of part of something that was really exciting. And then I grew up, and I was like, I don't do that anymore. And also, it got a little dark, a little racist, a little sexist, right? It always was. And so I thought, well, you know what? My friend invited me out to C4 wrestling. I said, okay, I'll give it a try. And I was fully ready to not enjoy myself, but I went on Friday night to their extravaganza, and it was very interesting.
C4 Wrestling. So tell me about this. It's a business then?
Yeah, so they're a local promoter, kind of like a comedy promoter, right? So it's an entertainment, but it's sports. Like, these guys are athletes. Like, I don't care if they're this big or this big. They're jumping on ropes, jumping on top of people, throwing things around. These are athletes. Like, I was very impressed with the level of athleticism, basically.
Yeah.
But it was in Little Italy in the event hall there. And you walk in, and it's the most dedicated fans I've ever seen in my life. Oh, yeah. Like, I wish I could walk in as a comedian, and people are like, yeah, Jen Hayward, let's do this. But
it is amazing. Like, I find that, too, in minor sports. You know, like, I'm a huge sports fan. So, you know, I watch CFL, NFL. I'm a huge NHL hockey fan. But when I go to Ottawa 67's games, and when I go to Ottawa Titans games, what a difference. I mean, the passion from the fans and how well they know. Right? I imagine it was like that. Like, they must know all of these wrestlers.
They know all the wrestlers, the stats, the everything. But the first thing that I noticed was the ref came out, and everyone booed him. And I was like, why are they booing Law and Order? Like, I get it if it was like, you know, Black Lives Matter or something, but it was like, why are they doing this? And it was because the refs are really awful. They don't see that people have chairs and wrenches and things, and they don't know how to count to 3. And so, you know, you kind of got with it. So it's like half sports, half entertainment, and that's what was interesting about it. But the passion of the people was interesting. So there's 3 types of matches that I figured out.
Okay.
Good guy against good guy, which what I call are really long matches. So they're really good athletes, and it's the fans, it's all the, everyone's cheering for everyone, and they're watching it. So as a non-wrestling fan, it got a little old for me, but I was fascinated by the people around me, and really some of the stuff they did was, wow, you could die. That's interesting, right?
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah, people think it's all fake, but no, I mean, they really are, like, hitting each other. Sure, there's choreographed to it, and there's storylines and so forth, but as you said, these guys are, like, and gals are slamming each other.
And they're jumping off of things. It's crazy. So good guy against good guy, interesting. Bad guy against good guy, traditional from when I was a kid, right? So one is the heel or the villain. Everyone's booing them. One is the good guy. The bad guy only seems to win if he cheats. But it's so entertaining, right? Like, because people hate who they hate and they love who they love. And it's an entertaining thing.
Did you find it, did anyone cheer for the bad guy?
I did, because I feel like, why? He has a mom somewhere, like, you know.
Okay.
But no, I mean, people like them and respect them, because sometimes good guys used to be bad guys and bad guys used to be good guys.
Okay.
They do switch their personas up a little bit,
Gotcha.
right? But then there's the all hell breaks loose. And it was the last two matches, it was three guys who came out. One guy's named Puff. He's a huge guy and everyone loves him. They're like, Puff, Puff, Puff. And they're like so into it. And he goes out there and they start throwing chairs in the ring. And these are the good guys and wrenches. And I was like, if I was a ref, I might have looked under the ring to see what kind of things they had there.
Yeah, maybe do like an inspection before every match.
Yeah, security.
But the refs are often distracted too, right? Things are going on, and so they have to
there's
turn
shiny
their
objects,
attention.
absolutely, you know. But then the bad guys came out, who are these lumberjacks, and I won't lie to you, they're pretty fine-looking gentlemen. But they're bad guys, and they came out, and then all of a sudden, like, barely any of the fighting happened in the ring. It was over there, in front of us. One of the good guys was hiding from the bad guys in a seat in front of me, and I was like, you should go help your friends. Like, what are you doing? But I just call it, like, I couldn't keep up. They're throwing garbage cans around, but the mayhem of the crowd. But what I have to say from the C4, like from a non-wrestling fan point of view, my first thing was, is this safe? Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm always looking for that. But the security team knows what they're doing. The fans know what they're doing. And it was, like, my adrenaline was up. I don't know who I'm cheering for, but, like, stuff is happening everywhere.
This is great. So would you go back?
I actually would. I actually remember when they said the next date, which is October 21st, I'm like, oh, I'm out of town, darn. So I definitely think I will.
Oh, nice.
Because where else can I just yell at stuff? Like, I can't. If I do it on the street, people lock me up. If I do it in wrestling, they kick you out. Or, you know, if you do it in a movie, like I said, like, you know, if there's a Nazi on the screen, I feel I should be able to boo a Nazi.
To yell or scream or boo.
Yeah, and they kick you out of the movie theater. So in wrestling, you get your adrenaline out. You have a lot of fun, I have to say. And they're like, what I expected was a little bit of racism, a little bit of misogyny, anything like that, like, you know, like the 80s.
Right.
But they keep a really clean thing. So it's inclusive.
So you saw young people there as well. Oh, we got 30 seconds left. What's your next?
Next, we're going on a mushroom walk. So I'm going in the forest for a 3-hour walk to learn about mushrooms.
Okay.
I got to tell you.
What to eat, what not to eat.
I guess so. And, you know, how to not die in the forest, like that's going to be an option. But
well, I'd like to know,
hoot.
the nice thing is safety is number one on your mind all the time. Jen Hayward, always a pleasure. We'll be back with more after this.
Are you low on food? Struggling to pay the bills? Overwhelmed by life's challenges? When you need support but don't know where to turn, just dial 211. 211 connects you to the programs or services near you.
211, how can I help you?
211, help starts here.
It's a new season of The New Fly Fisher on Rogers TV.
Hey, I'm Ash Ravens. I'm a singer-songwriter in Ottawa, Canada. I'm performing this week on Encore Ottawa 3, so please be sure to tune in and hope you enjoy it.
Online betting is booming. Booyah! Woo! Oh yeah! You could win big! But you could also lose. There is risk with online gambling, and that's a reality nobody's shouting about. Learn about safer play at knowtherisks.ca.
Learn all about the creation of the National Capital Region on The History of Ottawa, according to Phil Jenkins, on Rogers TV.
Unbelievable. You just never see that. Oh, what a shot.
on Rogers TV.
Welcome back to Daytime Ottawa. It's probably something that's more common than many of you out there are aware of, and I'm speaking of polycystic kidney disease, also known as PKD. And joining me from the PKD Foundation of Canada is the Executive Director, Jeff Robertson. Jeff, welcome. Great to have you here.
Great to be back.
You've been touring around, right? And spreading the word, raising awareness. And we'll talk about that in a moment. But let's talk PKD off the top. Sure. Describe to our viewers what it is exactly.
Absolutely. So polycystic kidney disease, or PKD for short, is a group of hereditary genetic diseases that eventually cause the affected organ, predominantly the kidney, to fail over time.
Okay.
Approximately 1 in 400 to 1 in 1,000 people, a global statistic, are affected by PKD.
Do we know what causes it? I mean, it's hereditary, but do we know why it's
a genetic disease. Okay. So for the dominant form, there is a 50% chance of passing that disease on to each offspring. And then the recessive form has a 1 in a quarter chance of being passed on. And that's with each parent having a copy that then manifests in the child. So this goes back to the King of Poland back many, many years ago, was one of the first to be identified with PKD.
Okay. Is it easily diagnosed?
It's a lot better now, thankfully, than it was for generations ago, and my mom included. When she was diagnosed in the 80s, there was very little known about it. A lot of time people would go into end-stage renal failure with just, chronic kidney disease, and then not being labeled per se as PKD, but certainly with imaging, treatment options, clinical care, earlier diagnosis is much more accessible now, and obviously the desired route so that people can get the care and treatment at a much earlier stage.
So let's talk about that care and treatment. Obviously, that's come a long way in itself. What's available out there today?
So presently, there is only one treatment option available for the dominant form, and that is a drug that was approved by Health Canada in 2015, I should say, Genarc or tolvaptan. And what that drug does is it slows the progression of the cysts from manifesting. So they can be as small as a pin size to as large as a golf ball. And those cysts grow over time, and that's what causes the organ to fail. So this treatment, again, which only is for the dominant form and only patients in a certain category, slows the progression of those cysts growing.
So Jeff, is it inevitable then that it will fail at some point?
About 50 to 60% of those with the dominant form will rely on either dialysis or transplantation, but as I always shared her story as a hopeful one, my grandmother, who passed away last summer, lived to be 98 and never relied on dialysis or transplantation. My mom, who inherited it from my grandmother, has had 2 life-saving liver transplants and will need a kidney. So the hardship with PKD is there's no linear path. Every patient is different.
So it is very individual. That's what I was going to ask you. So are there daily challenges, outside of dialysis, of course, but do you have any effects? How does it affect
It all depends on the patient. Some can live a long, healthy life problem-free. Others, from fatigue to UTIs, kidney stones, pain in the lower flank, which is at the lower back where our kidneys are found, is a common occurrence. It can be a multi-organ disease, right? So my mom, like I said, had it predominantly on her liver, but it can also affect people's hearts. It can affect the brain by way of aneurysms in a small select population. So it's one that has a variety of side effects and daily symptoms that the PKD community does have to live with, and that's why we, as a patient-driven foundation, work tirelessly to improve the quality of life by way of education and support services, so that those who have suffered from years before don't have to endure, the next generation has a higher quality of life.
Right. September 4th was a big day for PKD. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so that is PKD Awareness Day here in Canada and across the world in other countries, recognized by Health Canada. It is our biggest day of the year from an awareness and advocacy standpoint. So we had a record-setting 51 cities and towns across Canada proclaim PKD Awareness Day. We had various flag raisings, proclamations, lightings, the CN Tower, the Calgary Tower, Niagara Falls, all lit up teal and orange for PKD. And again, those 51 local proclamations, aside from Health Canada, it shows the community that they're not alone, that their local leaders and politicians and community stakeholders recognize the importance of leveraging that spotlight for the PKD community. So it's been marvelous to see. You know, I've been at this for a number of years, and every year the exposure and visibility for PKD is growing, and it's the best possible thing to see.
You mentioned the foundation. What sort of resources and services does the foundation offer?
So we have local chapters across Canada. We have one here in Ottawa. When the pandemic hit, we of course had to pivot virtually. So we moved a lot of our educational resources by way of virtual webinars and summits of that nature. But we serve as an opportunity for the local community to get together, to share in that networking. There's nothing more important than peer-to-peer support, talking to someone who's affected by PKD. So our organization serves as the vehicle to get the community together. We have educational events now, again, in person and virtual still, and then also fundraising events that support clinical research here in Canada. We are Canada's only organization solely dedicated to eradicating PKD. So our fundraising efforts allow us to continue the great work that we're doing, to fund the clinical research that will allow for future treatment options and hopefully an eventual cure.
Quickly, to find out events that are coming up in people's communities, the website, I imagine, is the best place.
npkd.ca or Fini la NPR en français. There's a wealth of information for those newly diagnosed to the seasoned vets that have been around for a long time.
Excellent. Jeff, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate the time. Awesome. We'll be back with more Daytime Ottawa right after this. Don't go anywhere.
I just think everything about it. I think it's the hardest sport in the world.
You can see it in the players. You can see it in their eyes as they come off the ice and just how intense of a battle it is.
1, 2, 3, go! Everything happens so fast out there. I guess it is like war sometimes.
Waking up at 6 a.m. 4 times a week to come into practice, it can weigh on you.
I mean, hockey in so many ways is an escape from, you know, your everyday life.
Treaty in Cree is Naskomitoin, an oral agreement. And our agreements were always spoken. For George Spence, the core of treaty was Wichihioin, to help one another.
And so we, the commissioners...
He was there for the making of Treaty 9, where the Cree were told...
We will honor this agreement together, for as long as the sun shines and the waters flow.
The Cree made their mark because they were assured that the land would be shared, and they would always be able to harvest what they needed. George Spence was my great-grandfather. In his life, he saw many promises of the treaty go unfulfilled.
Treaties were essential to the creation of Canada. First Nations still fight for the agreements to be honored.
My name is Joel Tamas, this is Red Heaven, and we are going to be playing the encore concert here in Ottawa. I got goosebumps just looking at like the lighting and the sound, and like it's very exciting to show up at a place like Shankman.
Welcome back to the show. My next guest, I've actually interviewed her many times in the past as a singer, songwriter, musician. I did not realize how many hats that she wears, because she is now author of a brand new book. It is called Coaching Life. Leslie, great to have you here. As I said, I had no idea. So you're an executive coach.
Yes, I am.
So let's start there.
Sure.
Tell me, what is your role as an executive coach?
So I've been an executive coach since about 2012, I guess.
Okay.
And I work for Export Development Canada as their corporate coach, and coaching, leaders and employees. And I've also done a lot of coaching with musicians and other creatives. And so there are a lot of things that come out of thousands of hours of conversations, and you get themes,
Right.
And so, and when people find out I'm an executive coach, they kind of lean in and they go, what do people talk to you about? They're curious.
I'm totally curious.
Right?
What are they talking about?
Yeah. So I thought, okay, well, there are all these themes that emerge, common topics, right?
Okay.
And so I decided that of those 22 themes that I've noticed over those many, many conversations, I can write a book about that. I can tell stories about real clients and coaching models, and I put neuroscience tidbits, et cetera, in there, real coaching practices that you can try. But what makes this book really unique, and I've never seen it done before, is because I am a musician, I've embedded music throughout the book.
Really?
And so each chapter opens up with the lyrics to one of my original songs, because a lot of my songs are inspired by, a coaching client that I had, or their topic, or a practice that I've given them that I've then turned into a song. There's a lot of those in the book. And I'm releasing the audiobook soon.
Excellent.
And so we've actually embedded the MP3s of those songs into the audiobook.
Right into the audiobook.
Yeah.
So what you mentioned, there's a lot of different themes. So what are some of the themes in this book?
Well, the most common theme I've ever had that I've noticed through all these conversations is the inner critic. Right? That little voice that
I know
kind
it
of,
well.
right? Most of us do.
I really do.
Most of us have an inner critic. And so you'll hear me in the audiobook, for example, you'll hear me say, Chapter 1, Inner Critic, and then the song Hello Old Friend plays. And that's a song I wrote about my inner critic.
Really?
Yeah, that she likes to pop up and,
Can it
say
serve
nasty
us
things.
well?
Oh, well,
That
if you
inner
can
critic?
befriend your inner critic, that's
Okay.
the thing, is that people want to, shove it into the trunk of their car and push it off a
Yeah,
cliff.
that's what I want to do.
Yeah, but that doesn't work.
No, eh?
No, it actually deserves your compassion, because there's a little part of you that is so committed to your survival. It's constantly monitoring, right? Looking for risks. And so that part of you needs your compassion. So, one of the things I tell clients is to name your inner critic. Give it an actual respectful name, and then work with it and say, you know what, I know that you're trying to warn me about this thing, but I've got it. I'm already aware, so you go sit in the back seat and we'll be fine.
I like that. I'm going to name it. I like
Good,
that
you
idea.
did,
Okay,
yeah.
you've got me
Yeah,
thinking.
yeah.
I'm not sure of a name yet, but I will think of one. And then within the book, it's obviously advice throughout, right? Life hacks are a part of that. What other sort of themes are in the book?
Well, so I've divided it up into sections, and the first section is about self-awareness. So how am I wired, right? Learning about the fact that there are different people out there with different wirings, different communication preferences, decision-making styles, et cetera. And so getting familiar with the different types of personalities that are out there, how we measure ourselves, how we are compassionate with ourselves. The second section is around goal attainment, and this is a huge topic for executive coaches and life coaches. People trying to get ahead in their careers. And sometimes they're not aware of the big boulders that are in their way, either that are just there or that they're putting there themselves. Right. So it's getting in touch with what's driving your striving quite often.
Okay.
And then the third section is about how do we make better connections with others. So those different personalities that I talked about, if you're trying to make a better connection with your opposite type, how do you go about doing that? So that you can tune into each other and kind of meet in the middle.
Yeah, and I imagine that's not just going to work in the business, side of your life, but in the personal side of your life as well, right?
Well, you take yourself wherever you go. You do.
Yeah.
And so what shows up at work, in your career, probably also shows up in your personal life with your relationships or your friends.
Yeah.
So
I'm just even thinking networking too, right? I know how intimidating that can be for people. I mean, I certainly was intimidated especially when I first started in television, right? And you know, your supervising producers saying, hey, you should go out into the community and, you know, go to all the events, and, you know, people are asking you to MC things, and you don't know how to even approach people, right? Because I mean, for me, it was, I don't want to bother anyone.
Right.
Right? That was sort of, I guess, my inner critic saying, oh, you shouldn't bother people. They don't want to hear from you.
That reveals the storytelling that's going on in your head. And as humans, our brains are wired for that. We're wired to sort of connect the dots. And if we have these tiny little nuggets of information, we will fill in the gaps with, oh, they probably, you know, would be upset if I bothered them.
You've got a really cool book launch happening at the Rainbow Bistro. It's very unique, so you have to tell everybody what makes it so unique.
Well, we're going to be incorporating music into it. So doors are open at 5 o'clock. I'll take the stage at 6 o'clock, talk a little bit about the book, but we will also be playing songs live, songs that appear in the book. So it'll be a three-piece, myself and my co-producer Scott Walsh, who owns Sound Creation Studio, and our drummer Chris Houle will be playing percussion that night, and I'll be playing piano and singing.
Fantastic.
So,
I love it. Open to the public? Like, how do people, do they have to pre-register?
No, we're throwing the doors open at 5 o'clock, and
so you're telling me to get there early, because this place could be packed, right? Because if you're not pre-registering, it's first come, first serve, obviously. That is happening again, Rainbow Bistro, September 25th, 5 to 8 p.m. More importantly, where can people pick up a copy of this great book?
You can buy this book at Mill Street Books in Elmont, and you can also order it on Amazon. And then during the launch, the audiobook will become live, and you will be able to get that on Audible and iTunes.
Fantastic. Congratulations, and I will see you on the 25th.
Yay.
I hope to see you as well. We'll be right back after this.
After a night out with your friends, there's always options for getting home safely. You could call your BFF, your mom or dad, whoever you can count on for a safe ride home. You could call your favorite cab company or 1-888 taxi guy. Or you could use the Arrive Alive smartphone app to help you choose your ride. Be it a friend, transit, or taxi, getting home safely is app easy. Now available for iOS and Android devices. Visit arrivealive.org to find out more. Arrive Alive. Drive sober.
Play 4 games of bingo from the comfort of your own home each Monday at 7 p.m. for your chance to win money from our $2,000 regular bingo or $5,000 super bingo night. Kiwanis TV Bingo, Mondays at 7 p.m. on Rogers TV.
Every year, dozens of Canadians are killed or seriously injured because they take risks around railway tracks. Talk to your loved ones about rail safety. Visit stoptracktragedies.ca.
Hello, I'm Liz Dowdswell, Lieutenant Governor of Ontario. In 2008, carbon monoxide, a deadly invisible gas, killed an entire family in our province. That tragedy led to a new law requiring homes with potential CO sources to have alarms. John Gignac's family members passed away that day, and he shares his story to save others.
Please make sure you have working CO alarms in your home. Protect your family today.
It's a new season of the new Fly Fisher on Rogers TV.
Hey, I'm Ash Ravens. I'm a singer-songwriter in Ottawa, Canada. I'm performing this week on Encore Ottawa 3, so please be sure to tune in and hope you enjoy it.
Welcome back to Daytime Ottawa here on Rogers TV. From one fantastic local author to another. He joins me again on the show. Love having him on the show. Jameson Wolfe is the author of Queen of Swords. This is your brand new book. Welcome. Great to have you back here.
Awesome.
Jameson, let's talk first of all your history as an author. This isn't your first book. You've written many. Walk us through your journey so far as an author?
My journey so far has been varied and multifaceted.
Yeah.
I think that's my 70-something book.
70-something?
Yeah, so there's a lot to choose from. I started with young adult fantasy. I moved on to GLBT romance, and then moved more into fiction area, poetry. I've even written a play. So.
Amazing. I didn't realize, I knew it was a lot, but I did not realize it was over 70 now.
I've lost count.
Have you always been passionate about writing? Like, did you start writing when you were young?
Oh yeah, when I was, my mother always told me when I was like 5 or 6, I was writing stories, so the need to, write or tell stories has always been there.
Let's talk about your latest book, because you were inspired by something you also love to do, and that is tarot card reading, right?
Yeah, well, I've been reading professionally for over 20 years, but I love tarot cards, and I thought back in 2013, wouldn't it be neat if I could tell the story of the Fool's Journey, which is the first 22 cards in a tarot deck.
Okay.
The major arcana. Wouldn't it be neat if I could tell a novel that way? And then the idea sat with me for years and years, because I had no idea where to begin, what to tell. And I had a dream about a woman on a plane, and she was drawing tarot cards, but kept drawing the Queen of Swords over and over and over again. And it was like, well, great, that's something. Don't know what to do with it. But then I had another idea, watching a news program about a woman a couple years ago that was left in the hangar of the airplane. And yeah, remember that?
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
And then the two ideas came together, and there was the story.
So what does this card, the Queen of Swords, what does that represent?
Well, the Queen of Swords, she's determined. She knows herself. She knows her own value. She can be quick with her tongue, like her words are her sword. And she can be fierce if she needs to, but she defends those who matter to her most.
I see.
Yeah, so the main character, Jackie, in the novel, is the Queen of Swords, or becomes the Queen of Swords. And she has to learn her own worth and go on a journey to find out her path.
So let's expand upon that. So that's sort of the premise. So where do other characters become involved in the book as well?
For sure. So each chapter in the book is based off that tarot card.
I see.
Right. So that she meets the magician, she meets the emperor and the empress, she meets the hermit, the hierophant. So they all on her journey as she goes along this path in this post-apocalyptic world. She meets all these people and tries to find out what she's supposed to do. She's trying to basically find a cure to a pandemic, because I wrote it during the pandemic, so it's totally worked everything into it. So she's trying to find a cure, and how will she do it?
You and I have talked about your personal challenges in the past, Jameson. You've been diagnosed with cerebral palsy and multiple sclerosis.
Right.
Does that affect your writing in any way?
It does, but I had to learn balance, because I was constantly writing every night. Had to write over 1,000 words, had to, and I would get angry and upset if I didn't reach that goal. But after the pandemic hit, and trying to learn about my mental health as well as my physical health, really had to learn balance, and that I didn't have to write every night. I didn't have to write 1,000 words. I just had to write.
Where do you think that came from? Like, why were you so hard on yourself?
I've always been hard on myself.
Really?
Always. I think, well, and then growing up with cerebral palsy, I learned, I had to do everything for myself, that no one else would do it for me. So I had that mentality, and I don't know, it just stuck as I went on through life.
Right.
It's all good.
I want to go back to tarot card reading for a moment, because a lot of people, I think, would dismiss it, and I certainly don't. My personal trainer actually is a tarot card reader himself. What's that process like? What sort of story can you tell about a person through tarot card reading?
Well, when I read cards for people, I mean, some people read the future. They read what will happen. I do it from a stance of personal growth. Right, so like what they need to work on for themselves. Like if they're asking, will I meet, like usually the question I get is, will I meet someone to love or someone to love me? And they don't get a court card, which represents a person. It's usually something they have to work on, or get through. So yeah, I read from a stance of personal growth and how they can better develop themselves.
Do you self-publish? Do you have a publisher?
That is self-published. I am with 2 other publishers for my other books, but I do self-publish my work, but that's through my publishing press, Wolf Flow Press.
Is that fulfilling? Do you enjoy that side of it? I guess it's also difficult to find a publisher from authors I've talked to in the past.
Yeah, well, I have one of my publishers said I'm too prolific for them to publish everything. That's okay.
That's a good problem to have, right?
Good, yeah. So then the stuff that I self-publish myself is stuff that I know that's good, that I want out there, that I want to spread the word.
Right. Are you having a book launch or anything of that sort?
I'm thinking of it, but right now it's available online anywhere you find books. Google it, but there will be a book launch soon.
Okay, I would love to talk about that. Hey, you know what would be fun? I would love to have you back on the show and do a tarot card reading with you live on the show. Would you be up for that?
That would be totally cool, yeah.
Okay, well let's stay in touch and we'll make that happen, because I think it'd be very fascinating for viewers just to see what the process is like.
I'm totally in for that.
Okay, I love it. Again, the brand new book called Queen of Swords. It's available, as Jameson said, wherever you can buy books, and of course you can find out more information on your website as well, right? Yep, and all 70 plus books are probably available there. We'll be right back after this.
Learn all about the creation of the National Capital Region on The History of Ottawa, according to Phil Jenkins, on Rogers TV.
On Rogers TV.
My name is Joel Tamas. This is Red Heaven, and we are going to be playing the encore concert here in Ottawa. I got goosebumps just looking at the lighting and the sound, and it's very exciting to show up at a place like Shankman.
Welcome back. Boy, that was a lot of fun. Two fantastic authors, and I meant it, Jameson, I'm going to have him come back, do a live tarot card reading here on Daytime Ottawa at some point down the road, so stay tuned for that. Let's go over a couple of things. I want to remind you as well, we had Risa on the show, host of In the Kitchen with Risa, right here on Rogers TV. It premieres each and every Sunday at 8:30 p.m. Lots of repeats throughout the week as well, so you can visit rogerstv.com to check out the schedule. Also, the Snowball. We had the wonderful Snow Queen on the show. That Snowball's happening Sunday, November the 26th from 1 to 3 p.m. You can find out all the information at realdreammakers.com/snow-ball. Hope you wrote all that down. What else do we have? Jeff Robertson from the PKD Foundation. A big thanks to Jeff, because he had to travel to come here to Ottawa. I know he's been traveling around sort of Ontario and Quebec and spreading the word. They had their big awareness day on September the 4th. So big thanks to Jeff for making it all this way. And Leslie, her big book launch is happening at the Rainbow Bistro September 25th, the Monday. Again, first come, first serve, so make sure you get there early. We'll see you next time.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
Hi, I'm Meg, and this is Fit Finley from Fit Over 50, and I want to invite you to join our upcoming session focused on bone strengthening exercises for osteoporosis. You are going to love the workout. It includes exercises with weights. We're going to be doing some standing exercises, and it's going to be so beneficial for you. Now, if you don't have osteoporosis, you are still welcome to join us for the strengthening workout. Hope to see you soon.
I'm Derek Fage, and I encourage you to join me each and every weekday at 2 p.m. for an edition